You better say your prayers, you flea-bitten varmint. I'm gonna blow you to smithereens.
You do that and I'll kill you.
Alrighty, metalheads, welcome to another evening of the Bullshit with Bob show right here on Brutiful Metal Radio. Tonight, I have in the studio via Skype, Jonathyn Arthurs from the band The Dark and Bleak. How you doing, Jonathyn?
I'm doing pretty good.
Well, appreciate you coming on the show, man. Tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, let's let the listeners know that you're 16 years old, right?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you write some pretty intense music, man.
Oh, thanks.
Now, I was reading your bio. You started up around the age of 12, correct?
Yeah, that was when I started playing in the venues and everything.
Now, at what age did you start playing guitar or playing music in general?
It was probably 6 months before I started gigging.
Wow. And what all instruments do you play?
Normally, because I try to find instruments of each like particular group, I can play just about anything except like brass and stuff like violin.
Now, have you had any formal music training coming up, like played in band or anything like that?
Not before the Dark and Bleak. I've had side bands since then, but they never really went anywhere. I've always kept the Dark and Bleak as my main project.
Wow, right on. Well, from what I've heard that you've done on the Dark and Bleak, the 4 years you've been playing, man, you've really, really grasped, songwriting and playing the instrument really well.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate it.
Now, what was some of your influences, first of all, that made you want to be a metalhead? Was there a certain band that just made you, want to grow your hair out and be a rebel and, listen to the heavy shit? And also, who was it or what band or musician made you want to play music?
Well, at first I really had no interest in music when I was younger, but when I hit about 11, I was in like 5th grade, I started getting into the soft stuff like AC/DC, and then I obsessed over Ozzy for a while, and it kind of progressed to Metallica, then Disturbed, and then I found Death Clock, and I got completely hooked on that for like a year straight, and that's probably what inspired the whole thing with the Dark and Bleak.
Right on. Death Clock, man, you just cannot go wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, Brendan Smalls, I think he really hit a gold mine, when you, oh, he is absolutely genius. When you watch the cartoon, you can sit there and watch Squiscar playing leads, and you can figure them out.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a guitar player myself, but yeah, I love Metalocalypse. I find it pretty cool that your path through metal, even follows a lot of older generation people. Because myself, I found Black Sabbath, Kiss starting off, and Sabbath, Ozzy, Maiden, Metallica, and just kept getting heavier and heavier throughout the years. But I think that's really cool that you got a good background in the old school and the originals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where did you derive the name The Dark and the Bleak, or Dark and Bleak?
Well, originally, like, when I very first started, I wasn't very creative at the time either. It was originally The Unknown, but it kind of developed, and after a while, I guess it was a name I just kind of threw together. I was young at the time and everything, but after that, I kind of started putting more meaning to it. And basically, what I get at now is basically that I'm trying to, I'd say, push the fact that everybody shouldn't be scared of what is dark and what is bleak, to kind of search through the unknown and basically find out new things about themselves and ideas, concepts, anything of that sort, like even with new music. Basically saying behind every scary face isn't always something horrible.
Yeah, sometimes you look behind that scary face and it might be, a clown or something. Just for example, you just never know. Some of the I hate to put it this way, but some of the most horrific looking people on the planet are probably the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to get across.
You know, you can't judge a book by a cover. And, you know, myself, growing up, I was a child of the late 70s, early 80s. And growing up, you know, long hair, heavy metal, tattoos, piercings. You know, people look at you funny and make you an outcast. You know, they think, oh, there's the freak. And all you want to do is express your individualism, and people don't understand that. You know, some people, individuality is really a scary topic.
Yeah.
Now, before we get too far into this, I want to throw out the links that Vix has been throwing up. People out there in listener land, my friends in the chat room, if y'all want to check out Jonathyn's music, we're going to play some. I do have the album loaded. Or actually the songs that we have, I'm not sure if it's off the same album or not. But we do have quite a few tunes from you that we're going to play. But you can go to facebook.com/The Dark and Bleak. You can check him out under YouTube. Just look up The Dark and Bleak and you'll find him. He also has a Twitter at twitter.com/The Dark and Bleak. ReverbNation.com/Dark and Bleak. And also check him out on SoundCloud. And thanks, Deanna, for throwing all that up. Now, Jonathyn, what kind of gear do you use?
It all kind of varies. A lot of it has to be like cheaper stuff because obviously I don't have a job yet or anything of that sort. For the past 2 years, I've been trying to find jobs like even that high around like 14. It was like impossible.
Right.
And the majority of the stuff I got money from was like scrapping metal. I used to walk around and pick up dirty pop cans off the side of the road and go try to get a few bucks off of them or whatever. So a lot of the stuff I have is cheap. But in terms of guitars, like the guitars I normally prefer to use on stage are Deans. I usually prefer my Dean Razorback. I'm wanting to get the pickups changed on it though.
And what type of pickups you gonna be looking at?
I'm guessing EMGs because I've tried a few of those out and they sound pretty good.
Check out. I don't know if you like active pickups versus passive, but check out the 8185 Kerry King setup.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Super chunky, super chunky. As long as your battery's good, it's super chunky. And what kind of amp do you have?
I usually prefer to use customs.
Now, you know, going back to what you said, you know, I mean, 16 and jobs, you know, it really sucks at that age trying to progress. And because I had the same thing, you know, I started playing when I was 14. And you always start off on that shit that you find. You know, maybe you get a Christmas present and the person that buys you the Christmas present doesn't know what they're buying. Or you find one at a pawn shop or garage sale or something, and the pickups feedback, you know, but you got to start somewhere, you know. Yeah. And trust me, as your musical career progresses, bro, you're gonna have so many guitars and so many amps.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it. Yeah, currently, right now, like I said, I'm a guitar player, and I used to have an old school Kramer I bought back in '87. It was a Kramer Striker 200 ST. And I bought that at my first job, which was pizza delivery.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, dude, I saved and saved and saved, and, you know, finally went and got it. And had me a little PV Bandit, you know, and that was the first good guitar I bought, and loved it. And now I play on Jackson. In fact, I got an X-Warrior, and right now it has Duncan Invaders in it, but I do want to switch them out to the EMGs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I play through a Line 6. Now, something you may want to think about. The Line 6 I bought, this is a Spider 3 head. They're very inexpensive. I think I paid $250, but it was a floor model. And when you go to Guitar Center, try to buy the floor model. They usually knock $100 off of that, or even a scratch and dent, and you can get you a good amp cheap. You know, yeah, just some food for thought.
Yeah, I picked mine up at Music Go Round for the whole thing, like $300. So it was pretty cheap there.
Right on. And so tell me about some of your gigs, man. How's the response been, you know, for live shows?
Here lately, I'm not gonna lie, the draw hasn't been getting a lot worse because I guess all my friends and all that have started to lose money and this and that. So there's less people coming out, but we usually have a pretty good time.
Yeah, this economy, man, it's hard to hold on to any kind of money, really.
Yeah.
And
it's also harder promoting by yourself, and since I don't have a network of band members, I don't really have each band member bringing like 10 or whatever, it's just me.
That's true. I didn't bring that up. You are a one-man band. Now, you program drums, or do you play the drums?
I can play drums to an extent, but a lot of the faster material I write, I usually can't keep up with, so what I have now are programmed drums.
Right on. And what do you use for programming?
I was using the regular drums off of Acoustica, the Mixcraft program, for the longest time. That's what the whole Nowhere album sounds like. But I finally I switched over and I got Easy Drummer that I'm working with now. It sounds like 10 times better.
That is awesome. Now, after you get to working, I'll let you in on a little secret. The Boss Dr. Rhythm series of drum processors, you can dial it in where you get a sound that is nearly like a live set. It don't sound so much programmed. I love that little thing. It's easy to work. You just make your little, your beat. You can put it for your BPMs and then set it, and yeah, you're good to go. Now, how do you pull it off live? Do you run everything off like a computer and run that into the PA system?
Yeah, it's just a direct box on stage with a like an MP3 player.
Oh, right on. Now,
I just mute all I mute certain guitar tracks and the vocal tracks and whatnot from the original recordings, and then put it all together as a backup track.
Now, what's the response been to the music itself? Pretty positive, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's been on and off. Like, there's a lot of people certainly around here that just don't really get into that music, so they kind of look at me strange. But, in like terms of actual metalheads, I've actually got some pretty good responses.
Now, overall, you were talking about, draws to shows and stuff. What is the metal scene like in Columbus? You're from Columbus, Ohio, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's the scene like in Columbus overall? You've got quite a few bands out there, venues.
I'd honestly say I think it'd be very good. Like, there's a lot of metal bands and everything. Of course, there's a lot of bad generic metal and this and that, but there's still quite a bit of black metal and death metal and everything around here that I wouldn't have expected even existed here. We definitely have like a whole ton of venues down in just one part of the campus. I believe there's like 17 of them in a row.
Wow.
Or somewhere around that.
Now, one of my friends in chat, he said, for one thing, that, he said, don't do it for the money. Because, do it because you love it, and Buddy Cat, yeah, I agree with you too in chat. Labor of love. And Keith said that's why most musicians are broke, and I can attest to that fact. But, most of us artists are starving artists, and that's why they call it that for a reason.
Yeah.
Now, Keith did say the only thing that he won't do is pay to play. I don't know if you're aware of this. Excuse me. A lot of venues, especially over the last, I don't know, about 10 years, are going toward what they call pay to play. And you go to a show, your band's scheduled to play, they're going to give you X amount of tickets to go sell prior to the show. And people consider that pay to play because it depends on where you're going to play at. Like, say you went to L.A. to go play the Whiskey a Go-Go, for instance. And the Whiskey's going to give you 10 tickets to go sell on Sunset Strip or Hollywood Boulevard. Now, how many people do you think that you're going to get to buy those tickets from you? You're out of town. Unless you have a following there through the internet, you may not sell maybe 3-4 tickets.
Exactly.
And that's going to leave you stuck with 5 or 6, 7, something like that. That's going to mean you're paying out of pocket to play that venue.
Yeah.
And a lot of places are going that route. So whenever you start gigging pretty heavy, you know, later on and start playing out of town and stuff, look out for that.
Yeah, I've definitely dealt with that.
It
A
sucks.
lot of that here.
I think that's one of the worst things really to happen to metal, because I mean bands have it hard enough as it is, just you know, getting onto bills, and you know, you'd always go out there. I mean, you could do everything via internet, but nothing beats going out there at night, the night before the show, and flyering cars. You know, that's nothing ever beats that. And you could flyer all day, all night, and you know, then you gotta try to sell these tickets too. You know, it just sucks. Now, something I wanted to ask you. I noticed that you call your music Blackened Death. Something I've noticed with a lot of the young bands today, and believe me, I love it, because, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, everything started, well, even a little bit mid-90s, everything started to diversify and to go into subgenres. And being a young musician, I wanted to get your take on this. I'm seeing a lot of the younger bands today, a lot of the underground young bands, starting to pick and pull from all the subgenres and creating everything back under one umbrella of just metal. Are you seeing this too?
From around here, I haven't really seen too much of that.
Now, no, you know, sometimes you'll see bands and it kills me. They'll have 5 different genres attached. I'm trying to remember that one that we were joking about the other day. It was something like blackened hip-hop crunkcore grind slam or something, you know. It's like, how many labels can you attach to this thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just one, you know, I'm like that picture you see on Facebook. Back in my day, there was one metal, and it was called metal. And I'm a metalhead. I like all types of metal except for those that wear hairspray.
Yeah.
The hair bands I never got into.
Yeah, there's a lot of mainly core bands that I don't get into. Like, I'm fine with core and all, but so much of it nowadays is just so generic and repetitive, and it drives me crazy.
You know, that's kind of like, I guess, the fad for the moment. Because, you know, everybody at one time wanted to sound thrashy. Then, you know, everybody wanted to sound like Death. And then, you know, when the 90s really hit, everybody went over to grunge. And now it's like everything is going core.
Yeah,
and I do like some core, you know, but I have to agree, it does get repetitive and monotonous. But there are diamonds in the rough. You know, here and there are diamonds in the rough. Now, what are some of your the subject matter and some of the things behind the lyrics you write?
It all kind of varies. Off of Nowhere, it originally, the whole album was supposed to be a concept album, I guess I would say. It was originally, trying to think of how to put this. It was really influenced by the death of my dad.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Oh, it's fine. It's been quite a while. But that was the original influence of that album. And it ended up with maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 songs even having anything to mention with that, even out of the whole 10. But it came out. My new focus on the new album is it's a lot more about like religion, and some of it even comes down to pollution and different world impacts and different wars, everything of that sort.
You know, still to this day, I like to write stuff on all those topics myself. Especially where it involves, you know, human injustice to humans. Because we are the worst animals on the planet. We really are. But now, let me mention this to the group out there. I do have, let's see, I'm looking at the songs I have loaded up for you, Jonathyn. I have Falling Nations, I'm Alive, Never in Peace, Nowhere, Roads, Sacred Thought, War of Near Eternity, What If, You Must Change Your Mind, and Your Worst Nightmare. Those are the songs I have by you. When we take our first break, I'll play the first 4 songs in a row and let everybody have a good taste of what you're about. And then, we'll come back and talk some more. And then after the end of the interview, I'll go ahead and play the remainder in its entirety. That way everybody gets a good earful of the dark and bleak.
Alright.
Now, what all do your friends think about, your music and everything? Are they pretty supportive? Or, how about your parents for that matter, too?
Yeah, they're actually all pretty supportive. A lot of my friends are kind of like outcasts themselves. Not always, but a lot of them, they're kind of out there with me, and they're very accepting of people. It's either way around. They seem pretty supportive of it. It's hard to drag people to shows, of course, and to actually go do things, but they still support it.
Right on. It's always good to have a good support channel, because I know growing up I had some friends that were musicians and their parents were not behind it. I was lucky. My parents supported me and, didn't mind me playing, and to them it was, they'd rather see me at a band room jamming or in my room jamming than out on the street screwing up because they know I'd be out there doing that.
Yeah.
But they felt it was a lot better situation than some of the friends I had at the time.
Yeah.
Later on, also, we're going to take some questions from the chat room and see what all they got to say. We'll see if Deanna's going to be on her best behavior tonight. I seriously doubt it. She never is, but we'll give her the chance.
Yeah.
Now you already said that when you can, you're gonna go ahead and get a dime guitar, right? The Razorback.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get new pickups on the one I have.
Right on. Now, I guess I'll ask you if you had the chance to play any stage at all in the whole world, where would that stage be at?
I'd definitely say it was Wacken over in Europe, the huge metal festival.
Yeah. That would be my choice as well. I mean, how cool could that be? You get to go up there, and you could play next to Carcass, you could play next to King Diamond,
Cannibal Corpse.
Exactly, the creme de la creme, But, I mean, that would have to be just the greatest stage. Now, if you could share that stage with one band only, what band would that be?
It's kind of a hard decision. Bloodbath was a very big influence of mine too, vocally at least, and I was really into them for a while. But then again, I've taken a really big interest in more symphonic metal since then too. So it kind of had to be a mix between like Cannibal Corpse, Bloodbath, or Dimmu Borgir.
Now, you were talking about symphonic black metal.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the other bands besides Dimmu that you get into?
Flesh God Apocalypse would be one, but they're not necessarily black metal. And then Carrick Angren, Sinzi Says Tree, it's an underground band. I think I actually found through Rudolph's. Trying to think, I know a whole bunch of them. There's one band I found over Facebook called Enthring, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of like death metal, but they have a lot of symphonic stuff too.
I'll tell you, I got a friend of mine's band, two of them actually, that I would like you to check out. When I get a chance later on this evening, I'll add you up on Facebook. I don't think I have you added yet. One band is called Fathom, and they came and played our Brutiful Metal Fest last year. And, we had 17 bands on the fest. There are two of the bands I didn't get a chance to listen to prior to them getting on stage.
Mm-hmm.
One of which was Cryptorum from New York City. And that dude could sing like Rob Halford, and I was totally surprised. I mean, it's such a rarity nowadays to hear that kind of vocal style, you know. But the other one, the one I would like for you to check out, Fathom, they're from the Miami, Tampa area down in Florida, and they're blackened metal, very theatrical, and I liken them to like Marilyn Manson, King Diamond meets oh god, probably like Emperor.
Oh yeah.
If you mixed all that together, because they're very theatrical. It's kind of like the queen of blackened metal, I guess you could say, because they have a lot of different tempo changes, and it's kind of theatrical in an operatic kind of way at times. Very cool, and they're very cool people.
Yeah, I'm definitely into that stuff.
I was so surprised. I mean, they put on a great show. But the other band is another friend of mine's band from I'm in near Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and they're called Excommunicated. And they're kind of blackened death metal and very good stuff. And I'll send you the links to both of those. And once I get you added in, I'll send you a couple songs each by them and see what you think. I think you'll dig them. They're very, very good stuff. Now, on the death metal side, what are some of the the other bands that you get into, or that helped influence you into the music?
There's honestly, like, when it comes to death metal, I think there's a little bit too much to name because my taste switches like every single month. Along the lines of death metal, it would probably be like the top ones would be like Cannibal Corpse, Death Clock, like I said.
Right.
I can't even really think of anything off the top of my head. See, the most of my music, like I basically consider it black and death, but I have a lot of influences from all sorts of different music in it too, like everything from industrial to Celtic metal and even stuff like hip hop. I kind of throw in and put a death metal vibe on it, or at least try to.
And see, that's what I was talking about. With the younger musicians today, that is the trend that I'm seeing, that they're pulling a little bit from here and there, and the point being, back in the day, like when you just had, it was just metal. You had Black Sabbath and Maiden or Dio. They may have like a black metal style song, which kind of maybe even started the genre, in a way.
Yeah.
Or they would have a doom song, and that's they would have all these different vibes in their music, and then everything split to where it was just this style or just that style. And now I'm seeing it's more like a potpourri. Everybody's kind of, picking and choosing and adding all these cool elements back together, and it's making it, to me, in my opinion, back under just that one umbrella of metal. And I love seeing that. I love hearing it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And I applaud you for doing it. Well, let's see. Been on for close to 40 minutes. Let's go ahead and give everyone a chance to listen to some Dark and Bleak. And we're going to take us a little break, but I'm going to put up Falling Nations, I'm Alive, Never in Peace, and Nowhere. So stick around, metalheads. You're listening to the Bullshitting with Bob show right here on Brutiful Metal Radio. Jonathyn Arthur's the one-man band, Dark and Bleak. Here's your eargasm. Metalheads, we are finally back. Thank you for hanging on. Had another one of our great computer glitches here. It wouldn't be a show without one, right? This is the Bullshit with Bob show right here on Brutiful Metal Radio. We're talking to Jonathyn Arthur from the Dark and Bleak. You just listened to Falling Nations, I'm Alive, Never in Peace, Nowhere, and Roads. And welcome back, Jonathyn, and thank you for hanging on with me.
It's no problem.
Now, we were discussing during the break, about recording and some of the gear that you record with. When you start developing a song, do you usually write the music first and then come in with the lyrics, or lyrics first and then come in with the music?
Big majority of it starts with the music first.
Now, do you find it easier to do it like that, or sometimes when you write the lyrics, you kind of got the riff in your head and it flows? Which way do you think is easier?
Here lately, it's been more of, I've had a lot more instrumental influences, like figuring stuff like guitar riffs and all that different kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I normally write that stuff first, and whatever mood I feel to it, I kind of base the lyrics around.
Now, people in chat, once you guys start getting your questions together, because I'm going to have you ask y'all guys some questions, or have you ask Jonathyn some questions whenever you guys get ready. And Buddy Cat wanted me to let you know that, for one, she is so happy when she sees, young musicians, or young people in general getting into metal.
Mm-hmm.
And she says it's sad when she hears young musicians that feel so isolated. She wants you to know that you're appreciated. Do you ever feel isolated?
Yeah, quite a bit.
And it kind of almost persecuted just because of the music and maybe the way you dress, look, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I definitely get that quite a bit.
Well, I can tell you, keep your chin up because it does not last forever.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I appreciate your comment, too.
Right on. You heard that, Buddy Cat. He appreciates you. Yeah, again, chat room, get your questions ready because I'm going to let you guys start asking them here shortly. Now, we were also discussing that you're starting to work on a new album.
Yeah.
And
it's been in the works for almost a year now, actually. It's a really long one.
now you said you're going to have, 20 tracks on it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've had 60 song drafts that I have put together. I just have to pick out my favorites and write lyrics to it.
Now, if people want to find the Dark and Bleak music when they go to Reverb Nation or SoundCloud or these other places, can they download your music, or is there a place where they can purchase it?
I currently don't have anything up for purchase. I think Reverb Nation has the downloads, but if you just want it, I have it on. I think it's called SkyDrive, so you can just email me and I'll forward it to you. It's thedarkandbleak@hotmail.com.
There you go. Deanna, pop that up in the chat room, please.
Yeah, I've sent it out to, I believe, about 30 people already for free. I really don't mind sending my stuff out for free.
Right on. He said his contact email for those that are wanting his music is thedarkandbleak@hotmail.com. That way, say, if Keith or Buddy Cat or anyone else that's listening that's not in the chat room, if you guys want to go and hook up with some of the music that you're listening to, then go to thedarkandbleak@hotmail.com, send Jonathyn a message. He would be more than happy to share his music with you. There you go. Thank you, Vix. You're awesome. I don't care what anybody says about you behind your back. Now, what are some of your goals, or some of the things that you want to accomplish through music? Say within the next 5 years.
A lot of the stuff I've always dreamed of is basically making a difference in somebody's life. A lot of the people that listen to death metal, I've noticed some of them just don't really take the time to try to figure out the lyrics and all that, and I usually don't even. But it'd be really awesome to see more people look into the lyrics and try to connect more with the songs.
Right.
I'm actually planning on publishing like small books or whatever to sell as merch with all the lyrics written in it at my shows to try to get people to take the time to look into it. Other than people connecting to it, I'm really trying to make at least a big local name for myself before I'm 17. Because I guess the more I'm known younger, the better it'll be later. So I'm trying to get everything put together as quick as possible. I'm going to be going on the East Coast tour this summer. Well, I'm trying my best to, and I'm hoping that works out pretty well.
Wow. Well, let us know. Do you already have something set up as far as the tour, or is this something that is kind of just, you know, in the works right now?
Yeah, it's just starting in the works. I have to start saving up money and trying to gather the right people and figure out a way to get there. I got to contact my family that lives out down south, down the East Coast, and see if they'll let me stay with them and whatnot.
Well, let us know whenever you start getting closer to, you know, finalizing, because we can help you out with people in a few of the areas along the East Coast that could get you hooked up with some shows, and it'd be a good chance, you know, to network and meet people, meet other bands, you know, and set your network up. You know, I mean, really.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy Cat, is that L.A. as in Louisiana or L.A. as in Los Angeles? Because Buddy Cat saying, L.A. in June.
Louisiana.
Probably Louisiana, because we're going to be doing another metal fest here this summer. We're shooting for June 21st. We're still not decided yet if we want to do a 2-day or 3-day. Oh yeah, she said Louisiana. We're kind of looking at a couple venues right now. We're more leaning towards the New Orleans region. But if you're coming out and you're down south this way, if you want to come on the fest, drop Deanna a line, and she'll get you the info and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, that'd definitely be pretty cool.
Because, like I said, last year we did a 3-day. We had 17 bands, and all underground, and everyone had a great time. We were in Alabama, and the area we were in is not huge. Oh, sorry, 14 bands, but it's not a huge metal area at all, and we decided to bring metal to the area, and it went over kind of well. I mean, first night we had a pretty good turnout, about between 60 and 70 people. Next night we had about 30, and then the last night we had kind of like between 10 and 15 on and off, you know. But yeah, the third day, I don't know. I don't want to do 3 days. 2 days probably be it, because the third day really whooped me bad. Yeah, I was working all day, 12 hours, go up to the show, be there till like 2 in the morning, and, you know, go back home, get up at 4, go back to work, and it really sucked.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if you're thinking about coming down this way toward the south end of the states, you know, Florida, Alabama, Biloxi, you know, that area, let us know, because, I mean, it won't be a hop, skip, and a jump, basically, from, like, the Mobile area.
Yeah. That'd definitely be pretty cool.
And we can set you up with somewhere to stay, you know, the whole 9 yards. That way, you ain't got to worry about a motel and stuff like that, but we'd make sure you took care of while you, at least in our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, welcome to the show, Napalm. One of our friends from Norway. Oh yes, Bobby is going to play more. I've got more loaded up. We're going to do that at the end of the show. And how about some questions from the chat room? Now, give them just a second, Jonathan. 'Cause sometimes there's like almost a 30-second lag.
Yeah, that's all good.
So I'll just keep running my lip for a little bit, but they'll start popping questions in. Again,
okay.
we're going to wait and see if Vix is going to be on her best behavior tonight, because I know what she usually asks. And she'll probably ask it anyway. Yep, bring them out. Questions for Jonathyn. Okay, Keith, which is Dark Black Death Dude from Hell and stuff, wants to know, he says he notices that you use a drop tuning. How low do you go?
Right now I'm probably going to stay here. It's in A standard.
There you go. So you're not doing like a drop D, it's all standard tuning.
Yeah, it's a standard tuning. It's just like dropped really low.
Now, let's see. Napalm is asking, why did you use digital drums on some records when you can record black metal drums with a toaster? That's what we do in Norway. Okay.
I've definitely heard that before.
Yeah, well, you talking about a toaster that actually toasts bread?
Yeah, that's pretty much how a lot of old black metal is. I can see where he's coming from.
Wow. I did not know that. Buddy Cat is asking, Jonathyn, musically, are you completely self-taught?
Almost. My original... Oh, wait. I don't know how to word this. I originally started out when I was like 12. I decided to go back into like guitar lessons. I think I lasted maybe like 3 months there. Like I learned how to do like power chords and simple stuff and a few intro riffs to a few Metallica songs and whatnot. And after that, I started really teaching the teacher stuff, so I decided to leave and try to figure out stuff on my own. And since then, it's been all self-taught.
Oh, right on. And you solo and everything, right?
Yeah. And
where did you pick up like your scales and the lead technique that you use?
It's kind of hard to describe. Some of my influences were just off of watching random guitarists on YouTube and whatnot. I honestly don't understand a lot of guitar lingo, and I have trouble even reading stuff like guitar tabs. So when people try to hand me that stuff, it's like, yeah, I can't do that. A lot of the stuff I kind of got a grasp on learning by ear.
Oh, right on.
So I usually pick up from YouTube videos and try to work with it in different ways.
You know, my personal belief, I was self-taught also. And my thing is, you can never beat an ear. I mean, if someone plays a certain note and you go, oh, that's D. Or, you know, that's B. And, you know, the other musicians be looking at you like, damn, you know. It's always best to have that good ear. Everything else is kind of, you know, secondary, and you can even consider it a bonus.
Yeah.
You know, that's something down here we call lanyap. Just, you know, it's a Cajun word for a little something extra. But, yeah, you just can't beat a good ear. Because you can hear something, and, you know, I know musical theory now, but in my younger years I practiced with the ear. And now I can hear it and say, okay, that's E harmonic minor, or that's an Ionian scale. You know, I know it. But like again, that kind of comes with time too.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Napalm wanted me to ask. Now remember, Napalm just joined the chat. He just came in just shortly ago. He wants to know what are some of your favorite black metal bands?
Like I said, with a lot of the death metal bands too, there's really too much to name, and my taste kind of varies back and forth. I have a hard time naming a bunch off the top of my head. Most notorious, like actual like black metal bands, I'd probably say would be like Immortal or Gorgoroth, of course Dimmu Borgir, like I mentioned, Carrick Angren, stuff along those lines.
Right on. And just to let you know, Napalm, he's also in his music. He's starting to get into more of the symphonic as well, like the Dimmu and things like that. And Napalm wants me to ask you also, do you prefer Norwegian or American black metal? Which one's your favorite?
I've heard a lot more Norwegian stuff that has better tone to it and more creativity. Some of the early black metal stuff, like stuff along the lines of Mayhem, I can't get too much into the stuff like that. Even stuff like Venom. I wouldn't even really consider them black metal. I mean, Mayhem I would, but Venom I probably wouldn't. I couldn't really get too much into that stuff.
Well, I think with Venom, they weren't. I don't know. They were just considered black metal just because of the imagery, and I think that's really the thing. One thing that they lent to what became black metal was the imagery. I would have to say some of the earliest black metal, at least in my opinion, would be like Celtic Frost.
Oh yeah.
That was more of the attitude, more of the sound, and in the precursor of it. Napalm says that he knows Dimmu's keyboardist. He studied at a music school with him.
Oh, Mustice?
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. He was probably my favorite of the group. It's sad to see that he's not with them anymore.
I know. That dude is so awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a musical genius. I love the way he played piano.
Yeah, he apparently, I think he composed a lot of their works, even from the 90s. I heard the reason he got kicked out was that he was not getting the credit he deserved or something. They fired him through text message, something really simple and stupid, but I haven't really looked too much into the story, so I can't really say fully.
Wow. If that's the case, man, that really blows.
Yeah.
Because the best band they had was with him, Nick Barker, and oh God, what was the bass player's name? The one that
Vortex.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's apparently gone too.
I mean, just the dynamic that dude brought with his vocals, on Puritanic and on shit, what was the other album? Progenies.
Yeah.
I mean, both of those albums, the lyric lines that he put out was just great. I'm a fan of old Dimmu as well, like Enthroned Darkness Triumphant, those albums. And when they came out with, Puritanical and with Progenies, I was just blown away by, how much they matured musically, for one, and just they had that bigger than God sound, I mean, they were just a huge sound. Now, do you ever listen to Galder's band Old Man's Child?
No, I don't think I've actually got to check them out yet.
Oh, dude. If you're a Galder fan at all, definitely check out Old Man's Child. It kind of reminds me of kind of like what Eson's doing now, kind of like Emperor Plus, but it's more death metal oriented. But it's blackened, but it's more of a death metal than black metal. It's really good shit. Really good shit.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Okay. Any more questions out there in listener land? Okay, we'll go ahead and ask that one then. Vixen wants to know, growing up, what was your favorite cartoon character?
Cartoon character?
Yeah.
Honestly, don't think I could say. I was never too much of the type to watch TV. I personally haven't really watched TV since, I believe, 2009, 2010.
Oh, wow. And we usually ask people what their favorite cartoon character was growing up, and yep, you're getting applause. And Jonathyn, keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you.
Stay away from the idiot box.
Yeah, I try to stay away from most mainstream media outlets, even stuff like radio.
Oh, Buddy Cat wants me to tell you that you now have a new fan with her.
Okay, I really appreciate it.
And Dark Black Death Dude from Hell and Stuff want me to tell you, good kid, stay away from the box.
That's really awesome.
Now, if you had a chance, you say you went to a music store and you met like a 10, 11-year-old kid that was just starting to pick up a guitar and play. What advice would you give them?
I'd probably say patience and accuracy. I've noticed a lot of people, a lot of my friends, when they try to play, it takes a lot to perfect, like the way, even stuff like the way you hold your pick and the way you keep your hand posed the whole time. The stuff seems so little, but it's honestly, I think it's one of the biggest key points of playing, unless you just want to sound like a huge mess.
I do have to agree. You got to have quite a bit of attention to detail.
Yeah.
Because everything, I mean, especially when you're starting off, the way you hold your pick, the way you rest your arm, the way you utilize your wrist, things like that. Starting off, it seems weird because your body's not used to doing it. But when you start playing and you get, 6, 7, years plus playing, it's second nature. It's, it's there. You don't even think about it. Now it's just, okay, well, let me write this riff, or let me figure out this new scale. Let me write this new song. But, early on, it's frustrating almost. But as time goes on, it's just, you don't even think about it. It's second nature. Give me a guitar, let me go on it,
Yeah. I'd also definitely recommend always looking to progress. Like, instead of just playing the same things over and over because it sounds cool and you think you're as good as you're going to get, just try to progress even further. I've honestly had a little bit of a problem with that lately. I started picking up stuff like sweep picking and all that. It was all I've always dreamed of doing.
Right.
And since then, it's just been kind of the same things. I always use like the same riffs or whatever. I'm getting kind of tired of it. I'm trying to move on myself. So I'd definitely recommend that to anybody starting out.
I got stuck in that same thing, early on. You get to periods where, like you'll progress, and it's almost like you reach a plateau.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I found two different ways of dealing with it, in my playing, in my experience. One way was I would leave it alone for about a week.
Yeah.
And then come back to it, and it was almost like magic, that week off, just, I don't know, I can't put it into words, but it's like everything's just relaxed. You're not stressing it. Mm-hmm. Or, number two, you turn the metronome on and you keep on, trudging through it till you get it, That's the only two ways, but eventually you'll get frustrated and get pissed, and you'll put it down for a week and then come back and you'll have it.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty good to try, too.
Now, one of the best pieces of advice I've ever heard in my life came from Tony Iommi. And the one thing that he said was never be satisfied.
Yeah, that's definitely a big point in it, too.
Because there's no one person, I don't care if you're Joe Satch or who you think you are, there's no one person that knows everything. There's always something to learn. And as long as you keep that in mind, you will be a student for your whole life to the instrument. You may perfect, parts of it, but you will never perfect all of it. And there's always something else to learn, and you got to keep yourself challenged. There's nothing that's going to make you any better unless you challenge yourself.
Exactly.
But that was the best piece of advice I ever heard in my life was Tony Iommi. Never be satisfied. And if you apply that to everything, you play a riff, don't be satisfied with it. Try a different voicing on a chord. Instead of triple picking, double pick. Half time the beat. Try different things. Experiment. There's always a different avenue of thought. And keep an open mind. Exactly, Buddy Cat. Okay. Any more questions for our man Jonathyn here? Come on, chat room. Why you guys so quiet tonight? Oh, listening. And Buddy Cat, usually you have some pretty good questions too. Now, on your guitar, do you play on a 6-string or a 7?
6-string. I've always thought 7 strings were kind of weird.
You know, I tried one a while back. I've always hated 7s. I had friends that had them. And I say this pretty much every interview. My friends got into death metal back in the day. Started playing 7s. And they played these Ibanez, and it felt like playing a damn 2x4.
Yeah.
The necks were so thick, you know. I ended up getting this Jackson Christian Old Wolber 7-string. It's the dude from Fear Factory. And the Jackson, it's got a really sweet neck. It flows really well. The neck's a little bit tall, of course, to accommodate the 7th string. But the neck isn't real thick. It's not like you're playing a 2x4, you know. And I found it, with a little bit of practice, I started getting used to it. But I still like my 6-string better.
Yeah, I've considered eventually, like, investing in something very strange and, like, very big, like maybe even like a 10-string, just to see what I can do with it.
You know, it's...
But I just don't have extra money like that.
On the 7-string, once I finally started getting used to it, that extra string does open up another avenue of thought. It opens up different doorways that you can go and express yourself. Mm-hmm. And I found it kind of neat, but not neat enough to where I wanted to put my 6-string down forever, you know?
Yeah.
And Vixen, I've already asked him that question. She wanted to know if you could play any stage in the world, which one would it be? And the answer was Wacken. So, there you go. Go down to the Deutsches Vaterland to Wacken and get them good German beers and them sexy German women and play your heart out with all the greatest bands on the planet. Yeah, you weren't paying attention. You'll get pink eye for that later. See, Napalm says open A isn't the best thing for a 6-string, though, but a 7 is perfect and the tones are sexy as hell.
Yeah, I just use really thick gauges on my 6-string, and my Razorback is honestly a little bit modified. Like, I have... It was a Floyd Rose model, and the thing wouldn't stay in tune with it being so tuned down, and I got the thing all locked up, and there's a wood block in the middle of it. That Floyd Rose won't even budge now. So it definitely stays in tune.
Now, I tuned down to C, and for a while I was tuning in B. And what I found... What I found, I got a Floyd Rose, I got a Model 2, and I had that same problem. I went to, they're called Beefy Slinkies. I play a lot of Ernie Ball strings. I love them. They don't pop so easy.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
But I used to use, when I tuned in standard, I used to use the Super Slinkies, the 9-gauge set. And I found with the Beefy Slinkies, they're a hybrid thick set. My top string is about as thick as the fourth or the bottom string on a bass.
Yeah.
I think it's like 12s or something. I mean, they're really thick. Maybe even a little thicker than that. But it keeps my my whammy bar locked in. I get proper float, just like I would if I was in standard. I can pull back, I can drop down, and when I'm playing live and I'm beating the shit out of it and I'm playing the hell out of it, it stays in tune.
Yeah, that's always good.
It's just a pain in the ass getting it in tune. But once you get it there, it stays.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Buddy Cat wants me to ask you. Yeah, okay, Vix. He said fuck not Hill. I just changed it. I'm trying to be nice. Buddy Cat actually has 2 questions. The first one, she says, when you let the music flow, Do you hear the music in your head or from the heart through your hands?
I don't know. It's kind of a measure of both. Here lately, more of the stuff I think would have been coming from my head, but it kind of switches back and forth.
And she also wants to know, do you hear music in colors?
Yeah, sometimes I could say that definitely sounds right.
Okay. And she's happy. She's going, woo woo! Yeah, because I had a interview the other day with a band from Ireland called Dead Label, and I never thought about, music being attributed to colors, but I guess in a way, it can be, because there's times, when you're maybe writing about death or something like that, you may think, like a dark color, dark deep black, or if you're thinking like hate or rage, maybe a deep red. I've never thought about it that way before.
Yeah.
Or melancholy and sorrow, blue. Never really attributed it like that till they said that. They're like, okay, well, yeah, that does make sense. Buddy Cat says her first memories with music were colors. That's how she kind of hears music, is with colors.
That's pretty awesome. Definitely a new way to think about it.
Mm-hmm. She says colors move as the music. So it's almost like, say you pop up your Windows Media and you put on the, oh hell, what is that, the little display with the different things that move, the different digital displays in it. Oh, what's that called? I don't remember the name of it right off, but or she could have had a bad acid trip, one of the two.
Something of that sort.
Yeah, right. Well, I want to put out your links again. Of course, you can go to facebook.com/The Dark and Bleak. Jonathyn has a Twitter. Under The Dark and Bleak, just stick that in Twitter. YouTube page as well. Reverb Nation, SoundCloud. And also, if anyone wants to email and get any of Jonathyn's music, it's thedarkandbleak@hotmail.com. Hit him up. Don't be afraid. He loves sharing his music. And Keith says he sees colors when he eats acid. Trails, too. Oh, man. Well, them were the days, I guess. Well, again, I do want to thank you for being on the show.
And, I really appreciate you having me.
The music that you're writing is awesome. I think you have a great future ahead of you in music. I can't wait to hear what you got in the works for your next release. And again, like I told you during the break, you're part of the Brutiful family now. We're going to push you out there hard as we can. Whenever you get new stuff, we'd like to bring you back on the show. If you get some shows worked out, same thing. I'll get Vix to send you over the info when we start getting, the venues lined up and things like that for this festival, if you're interested in coming down here to Louisiana and spreading the disease, so to speak.
Yeah, sure thing.
But again, I can't thank you enough for being on the show. I'd like to thank everybody that's in the chat room listening in. Dark Black Death Dude from Hell and Stuff.
Always a pleasure.
My brother from another mother, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Napalm from Norway, thank you for showing up. Vix, as always, thank you for being the glue that binds everything together. Buddy Cat, thank you as well. The other ones that are not in chat room, listening in on the outside, thank y'all for listening in. Always appreciated. I cannot do this show without y'all. I love y'all. Y'all are my people. And yeah, I mean, without you guys, I wouldn't be here, spouting off and boring y'all to death with my voice. But But again, Jonathyn, you know, like I said, whenever you get anything else in the works, please don't hesitate to drop us a line and let us know.
Oh, sure thing.
Cause
there's like a small preview to one of the songs in the voice tag I sent to Vixen.
Oh,
so
right
if you guys
on.
ever want to check that out, there's a tiny bit on there.
Right on. I'll locate that and I'll pop it up after the last song plays. Actually, I guess Buffy's going to go in here and look for it right now.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on the show. I really appreciate everybody listening in and leaving their comments and asking questions.
Well, we love you, man, and you know it.
That's Buffy, by the way.
Hi.
Well, she's looking for it. I didn't see it in here.
Yeah, I just figured I'd mention it.
Oh, we've got it somewhere on the computer, but I just didn't see it. And
Yeah.
we have a folder with just radio tags.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see it.
It might just be Jonathyn tag.
I think
No,
that
not
one. That's no.
yeah.
That's Jonathyn from Entrenched.
They should probably just say the Dark and Bleak dash voice tag unless the name got replaced
maybe
or
it's
whatever.
T.
Right there.
There you go. Okay, let me shrink this.
Watch out. Oh, women.
Hey
I
now,
feel you.
man.
Hey, you better watch yourself, otherwise you'll be sleeping on the porch again tonight.
It's cold out.
You know how I roll. That's right.
Sweet talker, baby.
That's right. I'll give you a pillow tonight, though.
I hate the porch.
The porch sucks, don't it?
Yeah.
Okay, metalheads, stick around. I got a lot more metal coming your way. Now, I don't think that What If and Sacred Thought are going to work because they're showing 0 time on it for some reason.
They had a weird time upload.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that. Maybe we've got to re-download it or something. I do have War of Near Eternity, You Must Change Your Mind, Your Worst Nightmare, and being listeners out there, I forgot to mention this. I've got my younger daughter is listening in and sitting in with me tonight. And this is the one that those of you out there, especially you, Keith, that received that that Shout at the Devil from 06 that, you know, I play on. This is the voice that you hear in there, especially at the end of it when the boom mic keeps slipping down lower and lower and lower. That's the squeaky little voice you hear. I'm going to pop that up right after Your Worst Nightmare. So stick around, metalheads. This is the Bullshit with Bob show right here on Brutiful Metal Radio. You've been listening to Jonathyn Arthurs from The Dark and Bleak. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Jonathyn, thank you so much. And
Thanks for having me.
here comes the voice tag, followed by a few songs, and keep it metal, bitches.
possible that our very aggression could mean